What's it like being tied in with two people who are like the most cancelable people in CrossFit?
I don't care. You're going to let these men who are at peak performance compete against people who aren't?
Holy crap, the woke culture is kind of slowly creeping in.
Nobody is going to sponsor you.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Counterculture Podcast. Paper Street Coffee has been a gem, and they have let us just take over their booth for the weekend, it seems like, to do some shows, so we are eternally grateful for that. But anyway, we're with a new friend, guest, Travis from Vindicate. What's going on, man?
Doing good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
This was not expected.
Well, I mean, it wasn't expected for us either. Roderick just was like, hey, here's this person, and then we end up meeting you, and yeah, dude. So, how's the Rogue Invitational been for you so far?
It's been good. It's really cool. I've never been here before, so first time.
Oh, this is first time?
First time.
Wow.
Yeah, so October's been busy. Went down to Beach Brawl. Beginning of the month, went to Spartanburg for a Crash Crucible in the middle of the month. This came up, I'm like, all right, we'll go down there with Gabe and Paper Street. I do a ton of stuff with these guys.
Yeah.
I actually do all their apparel.
Dope.
Do a lot of their branding stuff, the can designs and everything. So
sweet, man.
We met years ago through Sevan's podcast.
Okay.
So yeah, we just any events that we can get to together, we try and do it.
Yes, you've been really busy. You gone how long ago was Beach Brawl? Just a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah, it was a few weeks ago. That was the first of the month. So it was literally like go to Beach Brawl, get home for a week and a half, pack up, drive again to Spartanburg. Both of those were 17-hour drives.
Yeah.
Which this one was only 12 hours because I'm in Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay.
So this one was a 12-hour drive. Which that's like a piece of cake after doing those.
Yeah, after 17s back to back.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, you're out here hustling and grinding. I love that, dude.
It's fun.
Where does that come from for you? Where'd you get that mentality from?
I was really trying to make this a full-time thing.
Yeah.
And literally the company itself, we'll give you a little bit of the backstory.
Yeah.
As a business, Vindicate's actually been around for almost 20 years.
How long?
20 years.
20, wow.
Yeah. So, and I always remember that because it was like the year my first kid was born is when it all started.
That's awesome.
I had a buddy of mine that started it up, and he just was making some shirts here and there. He had the name. And he was just like, hey, you want to help me out? We're both designers, so I have a design and marketing background.
Sweet.
And we were working at the same company, corporate company.
Okay.
So he started the business, and we were both into skateboarding and biking at the time. Yeah. So, and I've grown up skateboarding, biking forever.
Yeah, same.
So it worked out perfect. We're like, let's make some shirts.
Yeah.
We actually have one skateboard deck that still has the logo on it.
The Vindicate logo?
Yeah.
Nice,
I have
dude.
it hanging up in my office.
Oh, so you don't ride
I made
it?
a ranch. No, sorry, a ranch. I made a shelf out of it. So
sweet.
I got to save at least one of these.
Yeah, heck yeah.
So yeah, we started in biking and skateboarding. Just eventually kind of fizzled it out. And he's like, hey, why don't you, if you want to run with this, just run with it. He was kind of done with it. And that right around that time, I was starting to get into mixed martial arts.
Okay.
And in Omaha, there was quite a few fighters coming out of Omaha.
Yeah.
So I started helping those guys out, designing, and this was back when the UFC would allow you to hang banners over the cage that had all your sponsors and everything. So I was designing banners, with all the sponsors, designing the shirts, the shorts, and everything.
For the UFC?
For the UFC.
No way.
For the guys out of Omaha.
Okay.
There was two guys, bigger ones, Jake and Joe Ellenberger.
Okay.
They were brothers that both ended up fighting in the UFC.
Heck yeah, dude.
So helping those guys out, that started to pick up some steam, and right when that happened is when the UFC and Reebok made their partnership.
Okay.
And they basically not so much cut out sponsorships, but in-cage sponsors. So like your shorts, your banners, couldn't show any sponsors.
It had to be Reebok.
It had to be Reebok and the official.
I remember that transition.
Yeah. So that was a bummer because it was literally like when everything started to take off. It's like, all right, this is where it's gonna go.
Did UFC it played a big role in like pushing your business forward?
It was starting to, because people were starting to see the brand more, and they were finding out like I was designing all this stuff for these people, so more people would reach out. It was literally at that moment that partnership happened. Was like, oh crap.
Oh man.
So timing actually worked out because I had just started doing CrossFit. So this was right when I turned 40.
Yeah.
Is when I started going to a CrossFit gym. Actually, one of my other coworkers, her brother owned a CrossFit gym.
Okay.
So I started doing photography and stuff for those guys. And
Sweet.
I hadn't done CrossFit before that.
Yeah.
They just knew I took pictures, and they were having some competitions. So I did some video and photography for them, and I was like, this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And they just told me, hey, anytime you want to come in, you can start working out if you want to, because I'm doing their photos, and I started doing their apparel and stuff. So they just let me work out there for free.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I mean, the UFC stuff started to die out. It's like, well, the name works. It transitions perfectly.
Sure.
Right into CrossFit, and it's been going since.
Heck yeah, dude. For the skateboarding and biking scene, how long did that last? And did you guys like go to competitions? Were you sponsoring athletes? What was that like? Because we have an eerily similar background when it comes to the sports world. Because I used to BMX, skateboard.
Oh, okay, nice.
Did some aggressive inline for a long time.
Yeah.
And then literally got into weightlifting, but moved towards the mixed martial arts area.
Yep.
And then the lifting stuff and CrossFit all happens later on.
Very similar. Yeah. No, the skateboarding and stuff, it was kind of here and there, sporadic. We were working with a skate park in Omaha, helping them out a little bit. We had a local guy who was starting to pick up some steam, so we were sponsoring him. And it just, I mean, as much as I love skateboarding, I should have known. Skateboarding world is very finicky about new companies, especially.
Oh yeah.
And you
can't be a poser coming into our scene.
Exactly. And unfortunately, me and my partner who was involved, we were older.
Yeah.
So they're looking at us like, who the hell are these guys? What are they doing here?
Yeah.
So it just fizzled out over time. Neither one of us had a bunch of money laying around to be able to print up a bunch of stuff and have it available. So it just died out.
Got it.
There's no other way to put it.
So you said you were in marketing, like that's your background. What did you do before Vindicate?
So I was in, like I said, marketing, graphic design, web design. I've been doing that since I graduated college. So I'm like an old guy in the space. I'm 47.
That's not old. That's young. That's your new 20s.
Master.
There you go.
So yeah, I mean, was working a corporate job right out of college, doing the marketing side.
Sure.
And then started working for some agencies, some design firms, doing logos, branding.
Like 1099 type of work?
No, actually in the companies.
Working for them.
Yeah,
okay.
so I didn't take Vindicate full time till July of this year.
This year?
Yeah.
That's wild.
So I was working a full-time job, 8-9 hours a day, getting home, make dinner, and then start getting shirts ready. It was long days. It's funny because I tell people I still work the same amount of hours that I did before.
Yeah.
Nice thing is it's all mine.
Dude.
It's a risky thing. I have 3 kids, so it was like, shit, I hope this works.
How old are the kids?
Can I swear?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to get you in trouble.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Nice. So yeah, I mean, it was super risky to do it. Single dad, 3 kids, so you got insurance, you got bills,
you got a lot of
mortgage,
shit to worry about.
And it was a big jump.
Yeah. So I want to kind of hop into you being in the corporate world, though. So you're in the corporate world, and then your buddy starts a clothing line. What makes you actually want to take the pursuit and do that on top of what you're already doing?
Just because I had an artistic background.
Okay.
It's all I wear are t-shirts. I'm like, why don't I design the stuff that I can wear?
Yeah.
Because my job right out of school, it was shirt and tie, stuffy. I was like, ugh,
dude,
I hate
that.
This sucks.
Yeah. No, do not
So I'm getting home, first thing I want to do is throw a t-shirt on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, just it's stuff that I wore all the time, and why not design it for myself?
So were you always like that since you were like a kid? You were younger? You were into design, artsy stuff?
Yeah.
Did you go to college?
Yeah, I went to college, Sioux City, Iowa, Morningside College, graphic design degree with a business minor.
What made you go to college instead of just pursuing artsy shit?
I actually went to college stupidly.
Okay.
My parents will tell me stupidly to play football.
Really?
I didn't know where I was going to go to school. Had no idea. I knew I wanted to do design, graphic design, advertising. And then it was literally like the summer before I would have been going to college. I had Morningside said, hey, if you want to come play football. It wasn't a scholarship. It was walk-on.
Okay.
So again,
so you're
stupidly.
paying the whole tuition.
Yep.
Yeah.
And my parents were like, are you freaking kidding me?
Oh,
you didn't
man.
say anything about wanting to play football, moving on. I was like, I know, but if they're going to let me play football, I want to play football.
Go play football.
Was it a smart decision? I don't know. But it all worked out.
Yeah, you're at where you're at now.
So
right?
unfortunately only lasted a year and a half.
Yeah.
So when I was in, let's see, it would have been my sophomore year in high school, I herniated discs in my back squatting.
How much?
I don't even remember, but I'm sure they weren't
600 pounds.
They definitely weren't full depth.
Just make up a number.
Yeah. A good 550. For a sophomore, it's pretty good. So rehabbed all that back. Didn't have to have surgery in high school, and then my sophomore year, spring training, I went in for a hit, and my leg went numb. Ended the football career.
Oh, dude.
So my sophomore year, I ended up getting 2 back surgeries. The first one didn't work. 2 partially removed discs in
Holy
the back.
shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that changed everything.
Yeah.
And it was one of those deals, like, I look at it now and I just laugh because doctors back then, they're like, you should never squat again.
Yeah.
No squats, no deadlifts.
Yeah.
And I started, CrossFit in my 40s, and I've PR'd every lift.
That's amazing.
Since when I was a kid.
That's great, dude.
But it was literally like, okay, I guess I can't squat and I can't deadlift anymore.
Isn't that crazy how much it's evolved to, like, now there's a lot of PTs that don't want you to get surgery just in general?
Yeah. I do. I look back and I'm like, what if I didn't do this? But I mean, it was bad. Like, my left leg, I would just get pain shooting from my lower back all the way down to my ankle.
It's hard to live like that.
You can't even walk. It was so bad. So yeah, it was just nerves pinched off.
Gotcha.
They weren't going away.
But you're all good now.
Good now. I've had a few surgeries since. Had a few.
What else have you done?
So I broke my neck 12 years ago.
Doing what?
Walking on the trail, slipped off the trail, rolled down the hill.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude.
So that was an experience.
Yeah.
I lost my. Unfortunately, I'm right arm dominant, right-handed. So I lost. I'm trying to remember. I think it was a week that my right arm was completely off. Like it cracked the vertebrae in my C2, C3, which 9 times out of 10, if you break your C3 or C2, you're done.
Yeah.
You're paralyzed. It shut this arm off for almost a week. Like, literally, they would pick it up in the hospital and it would
fall down.
They're like, hold it up. I can't even feel it.
Yeah.
Couldn't move my fingers. So that took about a week for everything to start to come back, and it was just the swelling of the disc.
It only took you a week for that, for your arm?
To start to come back. Yeah.
Dude, I just had a neck injury, C67, a root nerve injury. I don't know, that's what they called it. And yeah, I was supposed to do Monster Games.
Oh yeah.
And the week before, I injured my neck. Literally the week before. I'm in the most pain I've ever been in. But yeah, it's the weirdest feeling because I couldn't even press a 26-pound kettlebell overhead. Just had no strength.
I'll tell about that too.
Yeah, dude. It's tough. I mean,
it's the worst because you're literally like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. I thought I was having like a stroke or something.
Exactly. Yeah, I had, long story short, they ended up putting a steel plate fusing the 2 and 3 because of the cracked vertebrae. And that was, my brother's actually a physical therapist. So we were driving down here and I asked, I was like, what do you think? Like, should I have let that go? And he said, with it being as bad as it was, he said, it wouldn't have taken much to make it worse. So he's like, yeah, you kind of have to do the fusion for that.
Yeah.
And the reason I asked him is because, when was it? Last spring or last summer, I just started noticing some weakness on this side, on my right side.
Same side.
Yeah, same side. And I was like you, I'm like, just there's no power. I literally was losing this. I measured, this arm was 1.5 inches smaller than this.
Yeah, dude, that's the freaky part.
Like this trap would fire up, my scap and everything was all fired up. I ended up getting an MRI, and I had 2 herniated discs in my neck below where I had the fusion.
Jeez.
Which can happen just over time.
Yeah.
Because those discs have to take over for the ones above it. Also doesn't help that I'm doing CrossFit and I can do handstand push-ups.
I was gonna say, are you doing handstand push-ups?
Sure was. Dumbest thing. And so now I'm like, don't fucking do handstand push-ups.
You're done with that
people.
now?
It's the dumbest movement ever. So yeah, I ended up with 2 herniated discs. I do have spinal stenosis, which is narrowing. It's a narrowing of the spinal column. It's kind of a hereditary thing. There's nothing you can do about it. So anytime you get just a little bit of herniation, there's no room in the spinal canal for a disc to push the nerve. So as soon as it herniates, it pushes it against the back wall, and everything starts to shut off.
That's tough.
So I was like you. I'm doing 12-pound dumbbell, and I could barely get it overhead.
Yeah.
It's scary because I would do a rep and I'd be fine.
Yeah.
I'd hit about 8 and it shuts off.
Out of nowhere.
The bar just drops. I was doing overhead squats, empty barbell, and I almost dropped it on my head.
Dude, it's the weirdest feeling. It's also like it hits your ego super hard because you're
awful. It's the worst.
I had to go to a body, so I own a gym, but I had to go to like a Lifetime for about a month so I could rehab and do the bodybuilding stuff and get some muscle back or whatever. But it's just like you go in there, there's a bunch of muscle dudes, right? And then you have to dumbbell press 15 pound dumbbells.
It's so humiliating.
Yeah. At the same time though, it's kind of like I don't know, it's kind of good for my ego to like get checked when it came to the fitness stuff, because so often you can get wrapped up in the I'm not going to do a warm up, I'm not going to do this, all the things that you should be doing. And that like the injury makes you take a step back and realize like what's actually important.
Yeah. And I've been doing a lot more. So I had that. I had surgery, so I lucked out with my surgeon. He was a spine specialist in Omaha, and he has a group of doctors that they meet every week, and they just do basically like a board, and then they'll present issues, see what everybody thinks. So he did the MRI, saw that I had this issue, and he's like, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know if insurance is going to cover it to do what he wanted to do, which was 2 artificial discs.
Wow.
Which he said normally is fine. He said the problem is you have the fusion above. Yeah. He said I've never seen 2 herniated discs or 2 artificial discs get put in underneath a fusion. He said if it was above, it'd be no problem because you're fused underneath.
Sure. The
discs above can take care of a lot. He said when that's fused and the discs below have to take the brunt of everything, he's like, I don't know if insurance is going to cover it.
Is it like a risky surgery and that's why they wouldn't do it, or?
I think it's mostly just, is it going to hold?
Yeah.
Like, will it be worth it or not?
Sure.
So he took it to his board, all these other doctors. He said every one of those doctors said, no, don't do it. He's like, I know who this is. I know his activity level. I know what he wants to do. He's in shape. He's good. I'm doing it. He said worst case scenario, the other thing he was worried about is I think they said you had to have like 8 millimeters of space in between the vertebrae to get the disc to go in. I had 5.
Yikes.
So he's like, worst case scenario, we get in there and we got to fuse it. He said, but I want to try and see what happens. Everything went perfect.
And you were down to just give him a full,
I'm like, you can fuse it, and I'd be literally like turning like this. He's like, you will have no range of motion. Because I'll have 4 vertebrae that are fused. He's like, you won't have range of motion at all. Yeah. He's like, let's at least see. Because like I said, he was worried about being able to actually get the disc to go in.
Yeah. Well, if you got to get cut open anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's like, if I'm in there and we can't do it, then we fuse it. It's no big deal.
So both options presented at once.
Yeah. And he's like, all you got to do is sign off on that. It's like, fine by me. At least try it and see what happens. I was in surgery at 7:30, went home the same day, pain-free.
Pain-free that day.
All the issues that I was having up in here, which I do now. I mean, comparative to what I was at, world of difference.
Wow, dude.
I have full range of motion. He said the only thing you cannot do is direct impact
handstand push-ups.
I love going biking, mountain biking. And he's like, you got to live your life.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
If an accident happens, it happens.
If you're not like a competitive CrossFit athlete, there's just some things that you don't have to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like CrossFit's more of like, in my opinion, like a lifestyle than it is the movements that you do during workout, right?
Yeah.
And like, I'm the same way. Like, if I had to give up some movements so that I could like carry on and do mountain biking, I like to mountain bike too, or like continue to do MMA or whatever, like, I'm going to give it up every single day. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Cool, dude.
So that rehab process has been fun. Kind of like you, like watch the ego. I'm literally like in the gym. So I had surgery Friday. I was in the gym Monday. I kind of got yelled at for doing too much. But like, I feel so good. They're like, I know you feel good.
But you got to relax.
There's a lot of inflammation in there.
Yeah.
So the ego of I'm like doing tricep kick because my triceps were gone.
Yeah.
I'm doing 2.5 pound tricep kickbacks.
Dude, that's the exact muscle
this is so embarrassing.
Yeah, I still like feel my triceps sometimes when I flex. I'm like, it's still not there. Like,
I still don't have a whole lot on this side.
Yeah,
it's getting better.
It'll come back.
Lopsided snatches and stuff because this side's weaker, and I just have to go lighter.
Yeah, man.
The way it is. A lot of leg days. I don't miss leg day anymore.
Yeah. So, hey, you mentioned being like a single dad and raising kids.
Yep.
What's that like?
Busy, hectic. The timing of how everything, like with my divorce and everything, and the way this kind of took off, actually worked out really good. My kids.
How long were you guys married for?
It would have been our 15th anniversary.
Wow.
When we got divorced. Yeah. So.
Dang, dude.
It's a kick in the gut, but.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
Is what it is.
Hey, if it works out better this way, it works out better. God's got a plan, man.
Everybody's doing great. Yeah, I mean, that's a good thing. Everybody's doing great.
Good.
We live in the same town. We're only 2 miles from each other, so it makes it easy with the kids. I mean, my kids are easy at this point.
How old's your youngest?
So my youngest is 15. My oldest turns 21 next week.
No way.
And my middle one turns 18 next week.
Wow.
They have the same birthday.
Really?
Yeah. So
what are the odds?
Next week's a big week.
Yeah, that's
kind of crazy.
Sweet, dude.
So yeah, I mean, with the ages and all the clothing stuff taken off, it worked out really good because they're fairly self-sufficient. Mm-hmm. They don't want to be around me anyway. They're teenagers. Like, go away, Dad. Other than they do when they come to events and with school. Yeah, it's kind of hard.
Are they into CrossFit too?
They like to work out, but I mean, they'll do workouts with me if I bring them in. But
they just want to come support Pops at an event.
They love coming to the events.
That's sweet.
They want to go to Wadapalooza so bad, and unfortunately, that's one that got to fly, got to ship everything down.
You're going though?
Oh yeah.
Okay, great.
Did Wadapalooza last year, and
how'd that go?
Ball. It was so much fun.
Yeah,
and it was nonstop busy. From the start of the day to the end of the day.
That's awesome.
It was crazy. So
how do you get Vindicate into the CrossFit space, since you go from like skateboarding to MMA to now CrossFit?
Basically through that first gym.
Okay.
Started doing gym apparel.
Yeah.
I did like all their affiliate apparel, and then just slowly but surely started doing my own. Website was already built with the store, so I just kind of. And when I say it was like onesie twosie sales, like shirt here and there a month.
Yeah,
it was really low. And then things started to pick up a little bit. I actually started following Sevan.
Yeah.
Reached out to him, and he had a shirt company already that he was working with, but he was always complaining about them, that they were sending out the wrong sizes or
who is it? Put them on blast.
I'm
just kidding.
That's what's nice about Sevan is he will too.
Yeah.
So I would message him in the chat every once in a while, like, hey, I know a shirt guy if you need one. And we just kept going back and forth. And this was the same time that Andrew Hiller started gaining a little bit of popularity.
Sure.
He had his own shirt that he did. And he had mentioned in one of his videos, he's like, I need to do another shirt. I got to get another one of these out. And he wasn't interested in making any money with it. He's just like, I want to get stuff out there and get a shirt out there.
Which shirt was this one?
It was the... was it constantly varied functional movement at high intensity with his little Batman logo on it.
Yeah.
It was the old Batman logo that he had.
Cool.
So I'm not kidding you. I DM'd him. I said, hey, I do shirts. If you want something done, just let me know. He messaged me back within an hour. He's like, hey, that'd be really cool if you could do that. And I said, well, if you have an idea, let me know what you want to do.
Sure.
No shit. He messages me. He goes, I want to do a no-rep shirt that looks like the Noble logo. Like, I had to think about that for a minute.
I don't know.
I guess we're going to find out how this goes.
Yeah.
I said, well, do you want to work out a deal? You want to, get something done? He's like, no, do it, go. Before he had said that, I mocked it up and sent it to him. He's like, go, run with it. It's like, do you want to, talk about how this is going to work?
Numbers.
He's like, nope.
Yeah.
He's like, just do it. So that literally took off everything. From when I say it like a rocket launch, that was it. I mean, that was and I tell everybody, I owe everything to Sevan and Hiller for how this has gone. And of course, Gabe with Paper Street. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for those three.
Yeah.
I mean, it took off like a bat out of hell.
We were just before we got on, I was telling you, it's so cool, the group of people that you guys have, because Sevan or Hiller to Roderick, I mean, these are all dudes, Paper Street, Gabe, they're all dudes that don't have to do these cool things.
No.
And they just do because they're genuinely nice people, genuinely good people. Yeah, I don't know, man. It must have been crazy for Hiller to reach out to you and be
it was nuts because he was just kind of starting to take off. It was funny because I had been talking to Sevan, not doing his apparel yet.
Yeah.
And then I started to see Hiller, and I messaged Sevan. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? He's an asshole. He can't put a full video together without cutting it, editing it.
Yeah.
That's how his style became. He started editing. I was like, this guy's a
quick
real
cuts.
dick.
Yeah.
And
so did you like him at first or no?
No, I didn't like him at first.
Okay.
No, because him and Sevan were kind of going back and forth. Like they weren't.
Oh, did they have drama originally?
In a way.
Okay.
They were both trying to get into the YouTube space at the same time. So it was like, who the hell's this guy? Who the hell's this guy? And they were kind of talking shit about each other at first. Little did I know, they're talking behind the scenes also.
The whole time?
Yeah. So I started working with Hiller, and then all that stuff with Sevan trying to find a new shirt company to work with.
Yeah.
So Hiller recommended me to him to actually like take that step and do it. I started doing all Sevan stuff.
That's sweet.
So dude. Our group is really, it's, I don't know, other than say special.
Yeah.
We were talking about, there was a group of us at Crash Crucible talking about how we can all be basically in the same space competing, but we help each other out because we know it's going to feed back to me. It's going to go back to you. Yes, we're competing, but we're all trying to help each other.
So it's like, Gabe and I talked about this yesterday. It's the abundance mindset, right? Like, I say this so often because it seems to be like, especially in this fitness space, the gym space.
Rest a little.
Yes, the flex. Especially in the gym space or the fitness space, it just seems like nobody wants each other to win for the most part, right? It's like, but there's enough for everyone to eat.
Yep.
And it's just it's people, even like big companies have scarcity mindset where it's like, you can't win because if you win, I'm gonna lose.
I'm gonna lose. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And I come to events like this and I go to other booths and I buy stuff because I think it's cool.
Yeah.
And I have no problem shouting people out.
Yeah.
Born Primitive, I like their shoes. They're great. I don't make shoes.
Born Primitive has shoes.
Yeah.
No way. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
These things are comfortable.
Yeah, they look like it.
I'll take some if you want to send them.
Throw out that sponsor to vindicate.
Yeah, that's actually the worst part about being an apparel sponsor is nobody is going to sponsor you.
Yeah. That's, maybe you work out something. Well, you already boys with them. You're already boys with them.
Drink sponsors. Yeah.
So
Gabe's actually the person who got me to do my first in-person event. I had never done anything in person. I was all online. It was almost a year ago, a little over a year ago. Masters Fitness Collective had reached out to Gabe about coming out there, and he's like, hey, why don't you come do this with me? I'm like, I don't have a booth. I don't have racks. I don't have a bunch of inventory. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know if I can do this.
Sure.
And he just literally every day, like, hey, you going to go? You going to go? Finally got me to do it. I lucked out, and there was a local event in Omaha 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
So I kind of got my feet wet a little bit.
Sure.
But went to Masters Fitness Collective with 2 tables of apparel, and it went great.
Did you crush it?
Oh, yeah. It was great.
That's awesome.
Because I already had, especially helping out, I already had some Masters designs.
Yeah.
So it was like the perfect competition to go to.
So you don't print the shirts, do you? Or
I don't do the printing myself.
Okay.
No. I have a local printer company called Courtyard Inc.
Got it.
And they crush it. They get stuff done. 9 times out of 10, I can have stuff done in a week.
Okay.
They get it done.
Nice.
So if I need something, it's no problem. If I got a competition coming up, like I have another competition next weekend, so if I need stuff done and I tell them ahead of time, if I message them Monday, like, hey, can we get these done by Friday? They'll get them done.
That's sweet.
Yeah, so it works out really good.
What's it like? So this might be a little bit of a weird question, but what's it like being tied in with 2 people who are like the most cancelable people in CrossFit?
I don't care.
You don't care at all?
No, I knew what I was getting into.
Yeah.
I'd watched Sevan's show way before I started doing apparel for him, so I knew exactly what I was getting into.
Yeah.
We see a lot of stuff behind the scenes. We see what's coming. We know what to expect for the most part. And the majority of the time, we're sitting back going, all you're doing is feeding more to us. It's more content, which is going to promote more shows, which is going to promote more shirts, which is going to promote a new design.
Right.
I mean, I literally just watch a show. I hear something like, okay, I need to make a design for that.
Yeah.
I'm probably not the best apparel company at like planning out, like we're going to do this winter drop and this fall drop. I literally, if I come up with a design that I like, I put it out there.
That like makes it better though, almost, right? Like it's unique. Like there's no like, I don't know, not that obviously their businesses should have like plans and stuff, but like if you come up with something you like and you want to get it out there, why not just fucking do it?
Yeah.
You know, if you have the ability.
It keeps it fresh. I mean, somebody comes to my site, there may be a completely new design that they've never seen before, so it kind of gets them coming back. It's also the benefit of being small. I mean, I'm literally the only employee.
Yeah.
I do all the design, I do the website, I do the shipping, I do all the packing. I mean, I do all of it. So I can do whatever I want whenever I want.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Goal, let's get that a little bigger.
Heck yeah.
But the flexibility makes it nice.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Do you ever, do people ever wrap you in, or do you ever get tied into the drama of all the CrossFit space stuff that happens with Sevan or Hiller?
Yeah, because I'm guilty by association for the most part, but I can't say it's ever hurt me. For the few that reach out and say, I can't believe you do this, there's 10 other ones that jump on board. They're like, thank God somebody's saying this stuff and somebody that supports. I'll say their name. Born Primitive did a podcast with Riley Gaines, who was one of the female swimmers who had to swim with, I can't think of the kid's name. It was the male who was swimming with the females.
The transgender person thing? Yeah.
So
Leah Thomas.
Yeah.
Leah Thomas?
Yes. Yeah. So they had Riley Gaines on their podcast, and I was just in their comment section, and somebody reached out, and they're like, well, at least I know a company I don't need to support anymore. I'm like,
Born Primitive?
I don't want you. So they said that to Born Primitive and to me.
What?
Yeah, Born Primitive didn't say that.
Okay,
There was somebody in the comments section. Yeah, they were saying, they had said, I'm not going to support you anymore. So I had commented something, and we're adding you to the list of companies we're not going to support anymore. I'm like, I don't want your business anyway. Yeah. I don't care.
Dude, I'm just going to be honest about that stuff. I'm still weirded out by it. So I'm new to CrossFit about 3 years.
Okay.
But I'm still weirded out by it because when I was powerlifting and competing in strongman and stuff, about 50 pounds heavier, we saw CrossFit as this fringe thing where it almost, I don't know how else to describe it besides all American, type thing where conservative values and all that. Not that I knew, but that's just what it seemed like, right? The farm boys and shit, going and doing CrossFit or whatever. And to come in and see I've seen just a little bit of this in the past 3 years of the wokeness creep in, where I'm like, dude, some of this is just ridiculous that you're even having these conversations, because even here at Rogue, right? Did you watch the Ruck event?
No.
On Friday?
I just pulled into town when that was going on.
Okay, so it was 100-pound mile ruck.
Yep.
400 or 40
800
pound
meter.
Yeah,
800
whatever.
meter with the lighter weight.
The weights were just way different from men to women, right? And then you look at the times too of how they finish or whatever. And I'm like, I said to my girlfriend Heather, I'm like, could you fucking imagine if the trans agenda thing came in and they're put the women in with the men? You'd be like, are you fucking kidding me? We've been sitting here for 30 minutes extra.
Yep.
It's just so clear and obvious that I don't understand how people, I get it, live your life, do whatever you want. I don't care if somebody wants to dress up like a guy or change their sex, whatever. It's not on me, you know what I mean? The only time that I have a problem with it is when it's kids that you don't even let choose their lunch. That's when I have a serious problem with it.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I'm there should be no discussion here.
No.
Because there's clear discrepancies.
It's getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't understand. And being a dad of 3 girls, it angers me when I see biological men coming into the women's space and winning. Yeah. This is not right.
No.
These girls work their asses off to get to where they're going to be, and now they get second place.
Yeah.
By a huge margin.
Dude, I would actually have to say that female athletes in their teens especially have to work harder than dudes in their teens.
Oh, God,
the majority of the population that I work with in my gym is teenage females.
Okay.
So I work with teenage lacrosse teams or whatever and a whole bunch. But anyway, it's I have to see the mental battles that they have to go through, the inability to speak up for themselves, the hard work that they have to put in because the barrier to entry is so low or high.
High
barrier of entry. Because they're not giving out scholarships for females like they do for men. They're not like, there's not pro teams for females like there are for women. And you can talk about why that may be or whatever, but the fact is that they have to work harder. So to like have the playing field disrupted because a couple of fucking fringe people want to feel accepted. I'm like, dude.
No, it's not right. And I may be wrong in this. I'm not a scientist.
Yeah.
But boys at 16, 17, 18, hormonal levels are skyrocketing. Testosterone is skyrocketing. I mean, they are peaking, not peaking.
Well, how'd you feel at 17, 18?
I mean, everything's raging.
Yeah.
Women don't do that till later.
Yeah.
So now you're going to let these men who are at peak performance compete against people who aren't?
Right, exactly.
It makes no sense.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, dude. And like seeing it from the outside in too, you know, back in the day, I was just kind of like, oh, this is weird. And then getting into it, or like seeing it from the outside in and being like, this seems like those farm boys, the all-American stuff. And then getting in and being like, holy crap, the woke culture is kind of slowly creeping in. I'm just yeah. And the fact that like companies too within the space don't outwardly talk about it is like mind-blowing to me too. The one company that I will say, I don't care if I ever work with them ever in my life, is Noble, because I saw them at one point say that they were supporting that stuff. I'm like, dude, fuck you guys. Like, you're the biggest company in the space and you're just pretending. You know, just for sales.
It comes back to them. It comes back around. You can tell they're diminishing a bit. They're not what they used to be. More and more people are seeing it.
It seems like it.
And it drives me nuts, like, just with the culture and people saying that CrossFit isn't inclusive and doesn't, you know, the cost barrier to entry is too high, the cost is too high. Look, how so? I don't have a Mercedes.
Right.
You know why? Because I can't fucking afford it.
Right.
I'm sorry if you can't afford to go to a CrossFit gym. It's just the way it is. I don't go to a CrossFit gym.
Right.
I don't have the money to do it. I don't have the money to justify it. And maybe that's hypocritical of me because I have a CrossFit apparel company. But it's just the reality of it.
Yeah, but it's also a lot of those people that will say that type of shit have a lifetime membership.
Sure.
They go out on the weekends. They like are eating out all the time.
Right.
You know, and that's just my trainer brain coming in. Are you sure? You know, but.
And my main reason for not having a CrossFit membership at this point is I'm with my surgeries. I'm super limited on what I can do. I had the surgery back in May, and I'm still rehabbing. So it's more beneficial for me to go. The gym that I go to, it's a Globo gym, but it has a functional fitness space in it. So I can do the stuff that I want to, but unfortunately, I need machines and cables and lighter dumbbells and all that, and I don't need to be doing just big snatching.
Well, hey, and also you're running a business and you're all in now, right? You need to allocate funds towards that to grow it and stuff too. So let's get into that. What took you from doing it, I wouldn't say as a side hustle, it's probably like an equal hustle. From where'd you get the courage to go from your day job, the safe route, to getting into just going all in?
It was literally time.
Okay.
And knowing what I wanted to do. I was very busy. Things had really taken off in the last year. As much as I suck at saving money, I was smart and read a few books and listened to a few podcasts that were like, hey, this money's coming in, put X amount away and don't touch it. Leave it where it is because you might need it for taxes and all that. After Wadapalooza, I hooked up with an accountant. He's got us everything squared away, made sure.
The fittest one?
Fittest accountant.
All right, cool.
Yes, sir. Did his shirts.
Nice. Heck yeah, dude.
So yeah, I mean, he looked over everything and it was, he didn't tell me no, that I couldn't do it. And like I said, it was just time. I had no time left in the day to be able to do anything. I started to get to the point where I'm at work and I don't want to be here. All I'm thinking about is the clothing stuff and what I got to do. And I just looked at it and went, well, there's no better time than now. If I don't do it now, it's never going to happen. So I just set a date and that was it. No turning back.
Congrats, dude. That's awesome. I love that.
I had no regrets at all.
Yeah, good.
And like I said, I was lucky enough. I saved up money Some months are better than others, and you just learn not to spend.
Yeah, for sure.
Just got to be careful.
That's it. That's even if you're in a day job though, too, right?
Oh,
like a normal job. Yeah. What? So did you enjoy your normal job?
I did. I mean, I enjoyed it for a while, and then it got, like I said, it got to the point of just I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
I was tired of doing stuff for other people. Frankly, I'm like, I can make somebody else rich, or I can just make money for myself. Not that I'm rich.
You'll get there.
But yeah, we're working on it.
Yeah.
Not that noble level yet.
Yeah.
We'll try and be better though. But no, I just like, if I'm going to do something, I want to do it for myself.
Yeah,
I'm already
absolutely.
like I said with the designs, I make stuff for myself. I love it.
Yeah.
Why don't I make money for myself instead of other people?
Yeah.
I mean, it's, you want to talk about rewarding. It's
super
really
rewarding.
cool. It's really, really cool.
That's cool, man. So then taking that leap of faith though, what were the feelings like?
I was scared shitless.
Yeah. What scared you the most?
I'm a worrywart and not a planner. Gabe can tell you that I will think about everything under the sun and overthink it to the extreme. And he's very much a just do it. What's the worst can happen? You have to go back to work.
Yeah.
Like, you're only going to find out by doing it.
Yeah.
No, there was a lot of fear. I had a lot of sleepless nights, just figuring it out. I've started to learn to temper that a little bit because and I don't know why, whether it's I'm doing something right, somebody's looking out for me. I will have those moments where I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this by next week.
Yeah.
And for some reason, something happens and a new design comes, or somebody reaches out and they're like, hey, can you do this for me? Things are just happening. I don't know how to explain it.
It's divine timing, dude. I truly believe that. I just think, like, do you believe in God?
Yeah.
You have faith? Yeah. So I recently came to God. We just talked about this with Hannah, so I'll spare the story again. But it's interesting that you say that, because a lot of times in my life when I'm like, I just don't know how this is going to work, how it's going to happen, and like you kind of freak out about it a little bit, for some reason it just pops in. Like, even coming here, we had a few podcasts that we were supposed to film, and like they just got ixnayed. And then lo and behold, we come here, and then Roderick and all you guys are just like dope people, and you're like, hey, sit down with me, sit down with this guy, blah blah, you know. And then everything just works out as it's supposed to, you know. And you kind of can't live in that scarcity mind and have to think abundantly, but it's hard. It's hard, especially when you got 3 kids. We got 2 kids, man, so I get it. I 100% get it.
And it's, being gone, it's like, I hate being gone all the time, but that's probably one of the harder parts with what this business is when it comes, because I've always done really good at events. I've never lost money at an event, which when I got into this, people would tell me like, well, you go to an event, you better just hope to break even. I'm like, fuck that. I'm here to make money. I'm sorry. This is a business. Yeah. I'm not trying to, rip people off, but I got to make money. So
hell yeah.
I'm here to make money. Never lost money at an event. The hard part is they're 9 times out of 10, it's on a weekend. So I got to leave town. Kids are home. Luckily, my parents only live 2 hours away.
Oh, sweet.
They're great grandparents, so they love coming over and hanging out with the kids. And the kids are older, so they're self-sufficient for the most part. I just still like to have somebody at the house.
That's awesome.
But it's just hard because I'll miss some activities with school because they fall on the weekends. Yeah. But they all understand it. They know what we're trying to do. Yeah,
it's like I'm heavy into the men need a purpose and they need something to chase. And a lot of times, when they don't have a purpose or like a dream to chase, it's just so easy to get complacent. That's why I feel personally that's why you see a lot of the mental health stuff with men, especially because they just get complacent. They get into a 9-to-5 job. They're not chasing anything. Like, think about even when you you go to Target and you get a fucking stool and you put that shit together, how good that just makes you feel, right? Yep. Like, you had a project, you had a purpose for like an hour, and you put it together and you feel great. Yep. And dude, I just think at the end of the day, like, there's going to be time missed. There's going to be some memories that you're not going to be able to get back and have. But at the end of the day, like, you're on a mission to build something, and you probably have a purpose too for your kids. Like, you're trying to build something greater. You want a greater life for them. Right. You want something that you can leave for them. Yeah, exactly. That's a big thing. Like, none of them are in the marketing or design or anything like that. I mean, they have different fields. My oldest is she switched her major. She's going into accounting now. And my brother was like, there you go. Yeah. You got your accountant in the future. It's like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Right. And my middle one, she's looking more into the medical side, so it won't be
most likely, are they going to take over the company? Maybe. I don't know.
You never know.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
They may be like me, where they go down this path, and eventually they're like, I don't like this anymore.
Yeah.
I want to do something else. Because along with the purpose, like, that's kind of how I started to get with my job, the day job. I'm like, I like doing this stuff, but I'm just not passionate about it anymore. And it got depressing. It's like, I fucking hate going to work.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it anymore.
It gets hard to continue doing it.
Yeah. So luckily, thank God, I had this backup plan.
Yeah.
In reality, it was just a hobby.
Yeah, dude.
Like, I got a really fun hobby that I enjoy and the sport that I enjoy.
Yeah.
So it worked out great so far.
What do you feel like? What is your mission with Vindicate?
Like I said, I'm not a planner. I literally, that's one day at a time and see what happens. People say, whoa, Vindicate CrossFit Games. Like, I don't know if I want that. That's a lot of pressure. But I like creating the apparel that's going to inspire other people. I think I've had people tell me that's one of the things, like with my stuff, when they come to an event like this, there's a lot of companies that, like, it's their apparel, it's got their logo on it, and that's it. Mine's got something different. It's funny you mentioned Monster Games. Jason, who runs Monster Games, he stopped by the booth at Masters Fitness Collective last year, and he bought stuff, and he's like, I never buy people's apparel, but yours is different.
He likes your
than
shit.
Other people's. So we've started a relationship. I'm actually going to do, he's involved with Legends now.
He owns part of it, doesn't he?
At Legends, yeah.
Sweet.
He reached out to have me come out there. He's like, you're one of the few companies that have actually bought stuff at an event. And I think it's just having those different unique designs.
Yeah.
It's not, I put my logo on everything, but it's not the focus of all the designs. And
I like
people are
that.
just starting to, they know who I am now. Which is pretty cool. I love coming here and you see people and like, I made that and I made that and I made that. This is pretty cool.
Dude, that's awesome. I'm really happy for you. It seems like the growth of the company is doing really well, and you get to meet people, and it's just inspiring to see,
that's
dude.
That's the funnest part, like with being on Sevan's show quite a bit, or in the chat quite a bit, like coming to these and you start meeting people. I'm like, if you come up to me, you got to give me your chat name because I don't know who the fuck you are. You got to give me like your actual chat name. And that's the only way I'm going to remember you, because I am the worst. Anybody out there, if I see you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times and I don't remember your name, I'm sorry. I'm terrible at it.
Dude, I am so bad with names too.
Bad.
So if you would not remember my name after this, even, I would not be offended, because I'd be like, yeah, dude, I get it.
No problem, George. It's okay.
Sweet, man. Well, hey, I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down and talk with me. I ask at the end of every podcast the guests 3 questions. You kind of answered the first one. Hopefully it doesn't break your brain too much, but you kind of answered this already, but maybe you have a different answer now. What is your biggest goal for like next year?
I don't have one.
Okay.
I mean, my goal is to just be able to keep this going. I love it. I appreciate everyone who has supported it, because I mean, you want to talk about making somebody's dream come true. This was the goal, to be able to do it. And everybody's just, not everybody, a lot of people are just super supportive. And they, the biggest thing, like I said, coming to events and seeing stuff in person, but like when somebody posts something and they tag where they got, that means a lot to any company. And I try to reach out to those people. I try to share their stuff, because everybody likes that little dopamine hit. When they see that little notification. I'm no different. I see a little heart emojis or whatever. It's like,
we're all human.
It's really cool. So I just want to keep it going and see what's next. I don't know. I want to expand. I get people that ask, like, well, it says Vindicate Equipment Company. Do you like make equipment? I'm like, no.
I was wondering the same thing.
We equip people with apparel right now, but I'd love to start getting into, maybe not footwear because it's kind of saturated, but different accessories, wrist straps, knee sleeves, all that stuff. My big thing is I won't make stuff that I won't use and won't wear. Same with all my designs. I'm only going to design if it's something I'm going to wear and actually believe in.
I love that.
The hard part with coming out with new stuff is like sourcing is a nightmare. Unfortunately, a lot of stuff you got to get from overseas.
Yeah.
Because it's either not made here or the cost is crazy high.
It is what it is, yeah.
and there's no way around it.
Right.
So you're literally ordering it overseas, waiting for it to show up for weeks, hoping it's halfway decent. I've spent a lot of money ordering samples.
Yeah.
I get them, I'm like, well, shit, I can't send it back.
Yeah.
Like, all right, who can I give this to? Who's it going to get donated to? So yeah, I'd like, just for everybody out there, I'm not banking a bunch of money on this.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was telling Heather too when we first decided to like print our own t-shirts was we're going to have to buy samples, see which ones we like, but we didn't do that at all. And not that that's bad, but like some of the shirts just don't fit the way that I would prefer them to fit type thing, you know?
Yeah, so. and I've run into issues with that. Like, found a shirt brand that I loved.
Yeah.
Discovered in early this year, I had a bunch of stuff printed and all the sizing was wrong.
Oh no.
And they're still not fixing it. The same, and they're a big, I mean, they print, or not print, but they make millions of blanks. Like, they are one of the top shirt companies in the space. Not in this space, but in the world.
Just in the clothing.
And their fucking sizing's off. I have extra larges that measure as mediums.
Oh, no way.
I've sent them samples, I've sent them pictures, and I haven't gotten anywhere. I will say, thankfully, I did get an email because I had 2 other companies reach out to me because I was making a fuss about it online because I'd reached out to their customer service, I reached out to the warehouse that I order stuff from, and they were just kind of lackadaisical about it. Nobody was doing anything, so I made a post. I'm not afraid to post it. I'll call you out.
Yeah.
Because you're messing with my business.
Yeah,
you're messing with my customers,
and they still make their money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, my customers order something and it doesn't fit. I've now lost them. They're not going to order it from me again because this stuff feels like shit.
100%.
And I run into that with other companies. So thankfully, actually, this last week, that company reached out to me. They're like, "Hey, I saw you commented on this on somebody else's."
Yeah.
They're like, "What's going on?" So we'll see if
they're
we can
gonna
get
fix it. Hopefully,
I hope so, because I mean it's thousands of dollars in apparel that I either can't use or I'll literally rip all the labels off and relabel them
by yourself. So
it's time consuming.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a pain in the ass. But there's stuff out there that people got and they can't wear it. And if they're I'll say this for anybody, if you ever get a product from a company, and a lot of people do it with me, reach out to that company before you post something or leave a negative review. Like, at least reach out to that company.
See if they'll fix it.
Because that'll be a true measure of how good they are.
Yeah.
If somebody reaches out to me and they're like, "Hey, this didn't fit," cool, I'll send you a shipping label, send it back. I try to cover shipping. If it was definitely an issue on my end, I'm going to pay for the shipping to send it back. If you just order the wrong size, sorry, that's on you. We have size guides on there.
Yeah.
And I like try to use the same brands for the blanks for the shirts. I try to use the same brand for all the shirts
so it stays
I know
consistent.
It's consistent.
Yeah.
So I don't want somebody ordering it and being, "Well, their shirts suck. I would never order those again."
Yeah.
Because the size is wrong.
It's about the experience.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So
awesome.
I don't pull the default. Well, if you could DM us and we'll get back to you like Noble does.
Yeah.
And then you never hear back from them. Sorry, I'm going to call them out.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes.
Hey, man, they deserve to be called out, those guys. So, all right. So second question is, what are you willing to sacrifice for that goal? Say of growth.
Ooh. Luckily, I don't feel, it's not a huge sacrifice because they understand my family. Thankfully, almost all of them do CrossFit. So they know what I'm trying to do. They know what it's going to take for this to take off. So there's limited time.
Yeah.
I mean, I with my parents being 2 hours away, it's easy to go back for a day and do stuff. But with starting this out, it's 24/7, 365.
Grind.
It is constant. And that was actually one of the things that Sevan talks about quite a bit on his show when he started working with me. His other vendor, he called him. He needed some shirts, so he called the guy on a Sunday. And the guy answers the phone. He's like, "What do you do? Don't call me on Sundays. I don't work on Sundays."
What?
And Sevan was like, "I won't work with you anymore."
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah. And again, it was a smaller, I mean, they're not a huge company, but they're like, "Yeah, don't call me on Sunday. I don't work on Sunday."
That's crazy.
And I tell Sevan, it's 24/7, 365.
Yeah.
I constantly get stuff out. So I mean, time is probably the biggest sacrifice.
Okay, cool.
But like with my family, they all get it.
Yeah.
We do a big family vacation every year.
Good.
So there's 13 of us. I think 13 or 15 of us now. We all go on a vacation together. So it's my mom and dad, me and my kids, my brother and his wife and his kids, my cousin and husband and their kids. We all go on a vacation, and it just happened to be during the games.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we ended up, after last year, I didn't go to the games, and I told him, I was like, look, we got to change this date because I have to go to the game. I got to be there.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you guys made the vacation the games.
No.
Okay,
We do like a beach vacation, a lake vacation.
Sweet.
I was like, we have to change the dates of this vacation because it's falling during the games. I can't miss it anymore because if I'm going to make this thing happen, everybody's like,
you gotta be everywhere.
Cool, we'll move it.
That's sweet.
So, moved it up.
Yeah.
Moved it up a week.
Great, man.
Yeah,
that's so good to hear.
Somewhat of a sacrifice, but it works out pretty good.
Cool, dude. And then the last question is, what are you not willing to sacrifice for that goal?
Kind of along the lines of, for lack of a better term, the wokeness, the caving to things that I don't believe in.
Yeah. Your moral compass.
I'm not gonna do it. Yeah. Like, here's how I feel. I'm gonna say it. Like, working with Andrew and with Sevan, you pretty much know what you're going to get with me.
Yeah.
They can do a lot of the talking for me. Like, we have no fear at this point. We're I won't say uncancelable because everybody can be, but
no, I'm not
going to not speak my mind.
I don't even think that like canceling's real, dude.
No.
Because like
caving more than canceling.
Yeah. No, exactly, right? Like, people can't actually shut your speech down. Like, sure, they can take you off of Twitter or whatever, dumb shit like that. But like, if you keep talking, you're not canceled.
Yeah. Yep.
So
well, and nice thing with all of us, we are our own platforms.
Yeah.
There's nobody who can tell us other than, I mean, you get the YouTubes or whatever who will shut you off. But if you don't like what I'm selling, don't buy it.
Yeah. Exactly.
You don't have to.
Right.
I don't like what other companies sell. I don't support them. That's fine.
Right.
There's plenty of other people who will. I don't care.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, heck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
But keep buying his shit.
Please.
Buy his shit.
Please.
Buy his shit.
And if I'm doing something you don't like, you can certainly tell me. I can waffle like no other. My mind can be changed.
Yeah.
If you got a supporting argument, cool. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, have the conversation. Don't just try to talk shit. Have the conversation, see each other's perspective. That's something that we're lacking so much nowadays too, is just people, Gabe was talking about it with me yesterday, people just don't like that confrontation. So they'd rather just type about it. When you see them in person, they'll never actually have that conversation, try to change your mind, have you try to change theirs, because they're in their echo chamber. They just want to hear reaffirming ideas that they're right, I'm right, you know?
And you can say it all you want behind the keyboard.
Yeah.
You get in person, they clam up a little bit. They're like, no, wait, I really don't have an argument.
Yeah. Or they'd be like, no, that's not what I said.
Yeah.
No, but
it's exactly what you typed. Well, that's not what I meant.
Yeah. Why'd you type it?
I know that's not what you meant because you can't say it to me.
Right, yeah. That's funny, dude. Well, hey, dude, I just want to really thank you for your time. I really appreciate this, man. You. And dude, I'm looking forward to seeing great things from you in the future.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, dude.
Keep it going.
Heck yeah, bro.
All right, man. Thank you.
Yeah.